Hey guys, it's John with Jeep Budget Build. I just finished up a little weekend project here on my 2007 JKU. I got tired of the carpet stuff being covered in mud, covered in sand. My top leaking wet carpet all the time. So we yanked the carpet out, and I did a Herculiner bed liner on the flooring of it. Pretty easy project to do. I will say it is a full weekend project. To do this, I went ahead and stripped my interior on Friday evening and then washed everything down real good on the inside. I mean, it's 175,000 mile Jeep, so there's 175,000 miles worth of grit inside of it. So scrubbed everything down real good, and then put a fan on it in the garage overnight, let it air dry overnight. Then came out on Saturday, started my prep work, rolled it on Saturday, and then started my reassembly on Sunday. One of the tips I will give you is that the kit says 2 coats is good. I would recommend 3 coats. Basically, I did 2 coats in my garage, and then once you pulled it out in the sun, you could see some little bit of light spots here and there, so I just did some touch up on it, but 3 coats would definitely give you very good coverage. The kit comes with a gallon. I've probably got a quarter of a gallon left after doing the entire floor on this JKU. So I'll walk through the process and enjoy. And here's a shot of it after it's totally finished. You know, normally have floor mats and so forth in here, but I wanted to show everybody what it looks like done. Definitely worth doing, I would say. Here's the back. My next project, I'm going to figure out how to make this cover out of something else besides cardboard and carpet. Maybe do it out of diamond plate or something. My Jeep had some aftermarket carpeting in it. It actually just pulled out really easily. I don't know what the stock carpet looks like for one of these JKUs, but we will start here with removing your interior. Most of the bolts for the seats and so forth are 18 millimeters. You can get to them with handy impact wrench for most everything. 4 bolts on the 2 front seats, 6 bolts on the rear seats, I believe. After you get the bolts out of the seat, you can lean it forward and unplug the seatbelt wiring harness. And lastly, before pulling your seats out, you have to take this Torx bolt out and remove your seatbelt. On the rear seat, if you take the front bolts out first, you can lift the seat up and gain better access to the rear bolts. There's also an 18 millimeter nut that holds in the center seatbelt for the rear seat. At the seat split, there's one nut that holds the split together. It's easiest to take this off and remove the seats separately. The center console has a Torx nut on each side in the front and the rear to remove. Once those 2 are out, the center console will lift up and move out. You need to pull the 4-wheel drive shifter knob off first. This can be done using a twisting and a pulling motion. It just pops off, clicks back on. There's also a panel below your air conditioning controls that just pops out, and that needs to be removed also. Once these things are out, you can literally just lift up your center console and pull it out of the way. Using an interior body panel tool, you're going to want to pop out the rest of the Christmas trees on the plastics on the floor surroundings. Once you remove them, they easily can be pulled out of the Jeep. Now that the interior is stripped down, it's time to go scrub out 170,000 miles worth of grime that's built up. I started off by just shop vacuuming everything I could reach. Next, I sprayed down the interior with Simple Green and gave everything a good scrub, then hosed it out. Just to make sure I got out as much water as possible, I shop vacuumed it once again. At this point, I used a milk crate to drive it into the garage and then set a fan up on it so I could help it dry overnight. I started off Saturday morning by zip tying or bungee cording all of my wiring out of the way. I started off by trying a flapper disc on a grinder, but that was removing way too much material. You really just want to scuff, so I went to a 500 grit sandpaper on a palm sander. After going over the Jeep with the shop vac again, I rubbed the entire interior down with acetone to help with adhesion. Now's a good time to tape off the areas you don't want to get
bed liner on. I removed all my interior panels so I didn't have to do much taping, and I was using the seams on the fender from the factory as a guideline, so I really didn't tape much off. And now it's time to mix our bed liner and get started. I used a drill and a mixer, made it a lot easier. Then used a paintbrush, comes with a kit, to do your seams or your edges first, anywhere that you can't get a roller into. It says in the directions use a dabbing motion more than a painting motion. It definitely helps to dab it on and get it thicker. Once your seams are done, you can start rolling the big areas of it, and once you roll your first layer of it, then you have to give it about an hour to dry, and then you can start rolling your second layer on. I found with the second layer, I used a 4-inch brush and painted it on. You could kind of slop it on and then spread it out real nice. The roller just wasn't getting the coverage I wanted out of it. Alright, so now you got your 2 coats on, or 3 coats, whichever way you wanted to go with it, and you got 10 hours to let it dry. I use this time to really scrub and clean my kick panels and my center console and everything I can get a hold on. I even spray painted the feet of my back seat and my front seats just to make them look new again, so when everything got reassembled, everything was clean and looked fresh. Okay, so I let mine dry overnight, and then Sunday morning I came out and reassembled it. It only took about an hour to put the interior back together. So far I'm really happy with this. When I did pull it out in the natural light, I saw some light spots. Just got my can back out and touched it up with a brush. No big deal. I did go wheeling that weekend after that. Very nice to be able to just pull my floor mats out and hose out the inside after a long day getting in mud and dust and stuff. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. This is John from Jeep Budget Build, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel.